So I've been testing out a lot of new drugstore makeup. Honestly, I am kind of surprised I haven't done a video on some of these products yet. Usually when I get new makeup, I'll do like a testing new makeup video and share my first impressions, just my initial thoughts. But I feel like products have been coming out kind of slowly. So I've been purchasing products here and there, testing them out. And honestly, some of these are so good. I've been using them every single day. I have to make a conscious effort to like set them aside and try something else out because it is my job to test and review makeup. And if it wasn't, I'd just be sticking with some of these products every single day. And then with other products, I just don't understand the hype. I don't understand why they're viral, why people are raving about them. I really don't think they're worth the money or worth trying, in my opinion. So I'm here to share these products with you, just kind of do a big review roundup on some new products, some things that you might have seen all over your For You page, your Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever. So let's get into it. Let's chat about these products and I'll share my thoughts on them. Let's start with this new product from NYX. I will say I just did a video on the best and worst viral launches from NYX, just like an overview of the brand. I'll link it in the description box below, but I did touch on this product in that video. So if you just watched that, I'll put chapters in the description box of this video, so you can feel free to jump ahead. But I'm sure you've heard about these if you are watching beauty content on any platform, because no matter where I go, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, like videos are popping up on these little NYX Smushy Matte Lip Balms. I think it's because it's a little bit of a different launch than what we're typically used to seeing from mainstream drugstore brands. And we're seeing new lip balm launches every single week. So it's kind of nice to see something different. So this new lip balm formula from NYX comes in 12 different shades. There's a range, but for the most part, there are a lot of brighter tones, a lot of pinks. They do smell really good. They're very scented, and it does differ depending on which one you get. I like that they're scented. I think the packaging is cute. They're just kind of fun overall. And the actual formula is really pretty on the lips. It definitely gives your lips this very smooth, diffused effect. If you're a fan of like that natural kind of blotted lip effect, you'll definitely enjoy this because it's really easy to get that look with this product. You can wear these a couple of different ways, but I definitely think they look best if you apply them and then really blend them out, whether you're using the applicator or your finger. You can build them up, but I do feel like as you build them up, the product tends to gather and move around and it doesn't look or feel as good on the lips. And as you build them up, you lose that true matte finish and you start to see a little bit of a sheen. So I would say if you want more of like an opaque finish, to go in with a lip liner ahead of time and then still just take a small amount and really blur it out with your finger. And again, that's the best way they wear in my opinion. Now they feel really moisturizing and they feel smooth on the lips, but if you have very dry lips, they can tend to cling to those areas, especially if you're using a more vibrant shade. The lighter shade I have, Soft Smile, is a little bit more forgiving if my lips are really dry, but I noticed some of the pigment from like this really pretty red can kind of cling and really enhance those dry areas. But I do think it is a really fun product. There are days where I do like more of a matte finish. Typically in the spring and summer, I'm more so a fan of like a glossy lip, but I do feel like matte lips are fun and a lot of matte lip products can feel really dry. So even though these can potentially look dry if you don't exfoliate ahead of time, they don't feel that way. They feel really good on the lips. Covergirl also launched a new lip product that's also very blurring, very smoothing. I actually think this formula is better, even though it's not getting anywhere near the amount of attention the NYX product is. And it's really interesting to see the way the brands have marketed the products differently because they end up looking and feeling very similar on the lips. But I truly think this Covergirl one is better overall. It just doesn't have the same fun packaging, the same fun design, and things like that. So if you're looking for a really good alternative to the NYX product that doesn't have as many cons, this might be worth checking out. This is their Clean Fresh Yummy Blur lipstick. Now there are 8 different shades, so not quite as many. These can also be sheared out or built up, but I find that they're actually easier to build and layer. So you can definitely get more of an opaque finish faster, and it actually wears so much better in my opinion than the NYX lip product. Again, very smoothing, very blurring, so you can get that blotted lip effect. It feels moisturizing on the lips. It definitely doesn't dry out my lips at all. In fact, the first time I tried this, I was actually really impressed. The swatches online don't look that great. So when I was trying to decide if I actually wanted to try out the product and then which color to try, I wasn't really convinced, to be honest, because I feel like it makes the lips of the models look really, really dry. But I don't get that same effect on my lips. I'm wearing this one today. So I got the shade, what is this color? It's called Into the Blur. And then on top, I just have a little bit of the e.l.f. Glow Reviver Melting Lip Balm in the shade Blackberry Sorbet. So that's why it is glossy, but this actually looks really beautiful on its own too. I'll do a lip swatch for you so you can see what it looks like. It does have a little bit of a scent. They say online that they're either pear scented or pomegranate scented. I honestly can't tell if mine is pear scented or pomegranate scented. It smells good. It's like a juicy, fresh, fruity scent, but it's not overpowering. It's definitely more on the subtle side, especially compared to the NYX lip product. So if you like that blurred, smooth matte finish, if you want something so lightweight, so comfortable, this is a great option. Okay, this next product is probably my favorite product that I've tried in 2025 so far, and it's definitely one of my favorite launches e.l.f. has ever done. And I honestly didn't expect that to be the case because normally products like this never become a staple in my routine, but I cannot stop using this product. Like I truly have used it almost every single day. And I feel like it is something you can easily pair with other products in your collection. So I always have it on. Anyway, let me tell you what it is. It's the e.l.f. Sheer For It Blush Tint. This product retails for $5, so thankfully it is pretty inexpensive. I know e.l.f. used to sell products for $1, for $3. Most of their products these days are over $5. They still tend to be more affordable than a lot of drugstore brands, but sometimes when e.l.f. does a product that could potentially be considered a dupe for a higher end alternative, they do raise the price. And I'm not 100% sure if they were trying to dupe Benefit's Benetint or if they just came out with something similar. Benefit's just well known for having a product like this, but it's nice to see it, you know, at $5 because I do feel like you get a lot of product in here. Like this will last forever. So this is a multi-use product. You can use it on the cheeks or on the lips. To be completely honest, I don't like products like this on the cheek. It doesn't really matter who makes it, what the brush is like, the applicator is like. I just don't tend to prefer like a watery stain on my cheeks compared to like a liquid blush, a cream blush, a powder blush. But I will say, as far as stains go, this is a little bit easier to use on the cheeks. I did test it that way just because I wanted to see how it performed. It's very light, very sheer initially. So you can lightly tap it in. And because of that, I find it's a little bit easier to use than maybe something like the Benefit Benetint. To be fair, I haven't used that product in years and years, but that one is a little more intense. So sometimes or in the past, if I were to apply that to my cheek, it would stain right where I applied it. Whereas even if this product does that, it's so light and soft initially, it's not as obvious. So you can build this up to look more intense. So I kind of like that it's more customizable. That being said, I love this product on the lips. It is so beautiful. I've really been into glossy lip stains lately, but I don't have a lot of just true like watery lip stains or stains. And this formula is so lightweight. It dries so quickly, and you can go in with a light layer and just kind of line the lips or apply it all over for a very soft, natural stain, or you can let it dry and go in with a second layer, a third layer, and then gradually build it up. So it's been perfect because honestly, my go-to these days is just like a lip balm. And it's nice to have color underneath the lip balm because once the lip balm wears off, my lips are like completely blank. And my natural lips are not very pigmented at all. So I do like having something on them, which is why I typically skip clear lip balms and go for a tinted option. And these have been absolutely perfect. My favorite shade is this one, Cherry Cola, but I think I might actually end up picking up the other shades as well because like I said, I've been wearing these every single day, whether I just use them to line my lips, to fill them in, to really layer them up for more of a dramatic look, and it's perfect. They are stains and they are transfer proof. So when you apply this product, it's not going to move around or come off very easily at all. If I'm just wearing this product, I mean, it will last me like maybe 6-7 hours. It's when I start to like eat, not really drink because I usually drink out of a straw, but the one day we were eating dinner and I felt like by the end of eating dinner, like a lot of the stain had come off, but not completely. Honestly, if I did throw a lip balm on top and I felt like it looked perfect again. One potential con or just one thing to be careful about, the stopper is very, very wide for this type of product, which I find kind of surprising. I mean, I think it's because of the doe foot applicator. It's not a brush. If it was a brush, they could probably do it a little bit thinner, but I'm not sure if there was any way around that. Anyway, I was swatching it and I had tipped the bottle over in my other hand and I looked down and it was spilling everywhere. So just be careful because this will definitely stain your clothes, whatever you spill it on. When I ordered that product from e.l.f., I also ordered 2 of their new Smoky Kohl eyeliners. Again, these retail for $3, so a really nice, affordable launch from e.l.f. They do come in 12 different shades. So they have a range. They have neutrals, they have some jewel tones, and then definitely some like dark, deep shades as well. So I picked up Beige Flag and then also Black Velvet. I definitely didn't have a great experience with these. I will say they are very smooth, very, very creamy. So if you're someone who mainly looks for like ease of application with a pencil or wooden eyeliner, these go on really easily. So they do apply well to the upper lash line or the waterline. They're so creamy. They just glide on very, very effortlessly. And you can also smudge them out and blend them out, which is good to know. But they definitely do not dry down and they don't settle down. So they're not smudge proof, they're not waterproof, they're not budge proof. It ends up fading super, super quickly. So the only way that I would really use these moving forward is on the upper lash line if I wanted more of like a smudged out liner look. And then to actually lock it into place, I would just take powder eyeshadow and set it. So that's probably how I'll use them moving forward. Although I won't really use the light nude one for that purpose, but I will hang on to the black one on days where I do want something creamy. But for the most part, I wouldn't really recommend picking these up unless you're truly looking for like the creamiest eyeliner ever and you don't necessarily care if it settles down. But I'm telling you, if you have oily eyelids, watery eyes, if you tend to get a lot of transfer anyway with eyeliner, these won't really last well for you. Last new e.l.f. product for now, although I did see they're coming out with a new skin tint. I haven't seen like an actual launch date at the time that I'm filming this video, so I will order that and I'll probably do like an updated full face of e.l.f. makeup soon because I don't think I've done one for a little while. But they also just launched a new mascara. This is called the Incredi-Curl. I'm not sure if this is supposed to be a dupe for a high-end mascara. If you think it is, let me know which one you think it's supposed to be duping. So e.l.f. does have a couple of different mascaras. My favorite is the Lash Extender, which is their tubing mascara. That one's pretty natural looking. I feel like it does a great job in the lengthening department, but it doesn't necessarily add a ton of volume. And I also like their Lash and Roll, which I do feel like lifts the lashes really, really well. But again, it doesn't necessarily add the most volume. So I don't find that either one of those mascaras are super dramatic. So I kind of like that they came out with this one because it is very dramatic on the lashes. I end up getting a ton of volume every time I use this. I know they're kind of marketing it as a curling mascara, but I don't really find that I get a lot of curl or a lot of lift with this mascara. It is a very wet formula, and I'm curious to see how it's going to actually perform and wear after it dries out. You know, over the next few weeks, I'll come back and update you because sometimes mascaras actually end up performing a lot better once they've had the chance to really dry out. But because it is such a wet, dramatic formula, I feel like it almost ends up weighing my lashes down a little bit. The actual formula, not the brush, but the formula reminds me a lot of like the Essence Lash Princess mascaras. So if you've tried those and you like them or you don't like them, I feel like that could influence how you feel about this one. I like the bigger, thicker wand. The brush is great. Like it definitely allows the product to go on well, to build well, but it can start to look clumpy after like well, even with the second coat, it starts to look clumpy. By the third one, it's going to look really, really clumpy. So I usually just stick with two. I haven't had any issues with flaking or smudging at all. But again, because it is so similar to the Lash Princess formula in my mind, and I know a lot of people have had issues with that one of smudging on them. I'm curious to know what you guys think about this one if you've had the chance to try it out. Honestly, my lashes are just not long enough for me to really experience a lot of smudging. That doesn't typically happen. Flaking happens, and this stays in place really well, like no flaking at all. So I feel like that is promising, but I like it. I feel like it is a good option on days where I want more drama, but just keep in mind that it can get a little bit clumpy and it's not like the lightest, most airy formula. If you're looking for that, I would go with the Lash and Roll. I do have another mascara to talk about. This is from Revolution Beauty. I really like the packaging. I think it looks pretty, has a little bit of like weight to it. So it does feel, you know, kind of luxurious as you're holding it, but it is the Wrap Lash Mega Extension and Volume Tubing Mascara. It's $12. It comes in 3 shades. Actually, I don't know if I said that e.l.f. mascara comes in 3 shades too. That one comes in black, I think it's like pitch black and then brown. This one comes in black, brown, and burgundy. So I have the black one. The whole claim behind this mascara is that it's the world's first tubing mascara with mega volume. I thought that was interesting because I just received a comment recently asking me like, which tubing mascara do I recommend that also gives a ton of volume? And I don't know if this has been your experience, but my experience with the tubing mascaras is that they do a really great job lengthening the lashes, but they're kind of hard to build up and get volume or get more volume than you would with a typical mascara. Tubing mascaras do end up drying pretty quickly. So I feel like if you try to build them up, they start to dry and then your lashes look tangly and clumpy and it's not necessarily the most flattering thing. So I will say this one ends up up looking more dramatic on my lashes, I get a little bit more volume than I do with like the e.l.f. Lash Extender, which is currently my favorite tubing mascara. That one is so good at lengthening the lashes, but there's not a ton of volume. I do feel like I'm able to achieve a more voluminous look with this product, but I don't know that I like it better than the Lash Extender. I feel like the Lash Extender just looks good on the lashes. And I know when I use that, like going into it, I'm going to get a lengthened look, but not necessarily a lot of volume, a lot of drama, and I'm good with that. But I think because this one claims to be so voluminous, I end up layering it up, and then sometimes I can get that like tangly, clumpy look. This is definitely more of a wet formula compared to the e.l.f. one, so I do feel like it is easier to actually build this one up and get a couple more layers before it starts to dry. So I've been enjoying it. I don't know if I like it better than the e.l.f. one though, so we'll see once I use it up fully if I end up repurchasing it, but I do like that they have a brown option and a burgundy option too. This product from Revolution Beauty, it sounded so interesting to me. I saw this when I was scrolling through Ulta's website and I was like, I have to try that out. I feel like there was another brand that did something kind of similar a few years ago, and I can't remember who it was. I don't think that I ever ended up trying it out. I just feel like there was a similar concept. This is the Hydra Cool Baking Powder. It's supposed to give you a cooling effect. It's 62% water. It's made with hyaluronic acid, and it just sounded really interesting. And then I saw a video on TikTok while I was waiting for mine to come in where someone said like it actually feels wet when you touch it. And it actually does. It's such an interesting texture. So first of all, it is so lightweight. Like it is a super finely milled powder. It basically has like that silky, weightless, barely there feel. But when you touch it, it's almost, again, wet. It's like the product kind of evaporates and it doesn't feel like powder anymore, but it's not like there's actual water on your hand. It just basically disappears. I've applied this a couple of different ways. So they say that it's meant to be like an actual baking powder. So I poured some in the cap and then I took like a velour sponge and I really layered it up under the eyes. Because it is so lightweight, and again, it kind of like not melts into a water, but it basically doesn't look or act like a normal powder. It's kind of hard to over apply it. So it doesn't perform like a typical baking powder would. It's kind of like once you apply it to the skin, it melts into the skin in a very natural way. I've also applied this with a dense brush, a loose brush. I think the best way to apply this is like all over the face with a large fluffy brush, just a very light layer of it. If you're looking for like a true baking setting powder, it doesn't really work that well for that purpose. It looks nice initially, like it does set my makeup and it gives me more of a natural look, almost a little bit of like a glow to my skin. So again, if you have dry skin, you might actually like the finish of this product because it's not drying, it doesn't look matte, it definitely gives you like a true skin-like finish. But if you have oily skin, you're probably going to want to skip over this and reach for like a true matte setting powder. My makeup definitely starts to break down with this product faster than it does when I use any other setting powder. So it's an interesting concept in theory, but I don't find it really practical for me personally. I just feel like it's a little bit gimmicky, to be honest. The actual application process isn't super easy. It's not flawless. It's not consistent. So I personally would just say skip over it, but it is an interesting concept. If you know of another brand that does this, or if you have found that you like applying this product in a different way, please let me know because I have it. I'd like to make it work for me if possible, but I just don't know that this really is going to be very practical. I have two blush trios to talk about, one from Revolution Beauty, one from Morphe. This is the first Morphe product I've purchased in probably 10 years. I've never been like a big Morphe fan. I never really bought any of their really popular palettes. The last time I bought a product from them, it was probably over 10 years ago. They had palettes on Look every once in a while, which was like that flash sale website where you could get a discount on products. And I think Jaclyn Hill had like not done her own palette with the brand, but she had like chosen shades and put them in a palette and then they sold it. And I think I got one of those from Look, unless I'm thinking of another brand, because at the time there were other brands that were doing something similar. I don't know. That being said, I've never tried any of their makeup products, but I feel like they've gone through a little bit of a rebrand over the last few years. And I've been seeing a ton of people talk about these face trios. So I decided to try one out. So let's start with this one, I guess. This is the Cheek Thrills Face Trio. I have mine in After Party. There are 7 different trios, a bunch of gorgeous color combinations. I couldn't really decide. So I decided to go with one on, I knew I would get a ton of use out of, which is maybe one of the more boring options, but I absolutely love this color story. I feel like it's somewhat similar to a Patrick Ta duo that I have. And you know what? I think I actually like this trio better than the Patrick Ta duos. This does retail for $19. I don't know. Is Morphe considered drugstore? I mean, I know they're not sold at an actual drugstore, but they are on the drugstore side of Ulta. So I guess I'd more so classify them as drugstore than high end. And honestly, like $19 is pretty typical for some drugstore brands these days. Anyway, let me give you a closer look at this product. So it comes with a satin cream, a luminous balm, and then a velvet powder. And all of the trios are like kind of monochromatic trios. This formula is beautiful. In my opinion, it feels like a high-end formula. The creams apply perfectly. They're so smooth, so easy to layer on. You can get a little bit of a softer look. You can build them up. I think these two are pretty soft for the most part. I can't really say if the other ones are like that, but I obviously have one of the lighter trios. But for me, it's like the perfect amount of pigment. And then the powder is definitely more pigmented. You can build that up to look pretty intense on the cheeks. So I love this. At first, I thought the center shade was supposed to be a highlighter, and you could use it as a highlighter. These apply beautifully, whether you're applying them to foundation, to set makeup. They look good and they last really, really well on the skin. Everything glides on easily. The creams don't feel waxy. They truly have like that perfect creamy, balmy texture. And then the powder is very blendable, very, very buildable. Again, feels like a high-end formula. So I definitely understand the hype surrounding these trios. I've been wearing this one nonstop. To me, this is like the perfect spring, summertime trio on days where I want like a blush bronzer all in one. And then you also get that glowy cream right in the middle. So you can get a highlighted effect too. Like I said, Makeup Revolution also did a trio. The design of this one is probably more similar to the one size blush trios. Those come with like a cream blush, a powder blush, and then a highlighter as well. So in here, you only get one cream. The cream blush is beautiful. It's definitely more on the subtle side. I mean, you can build it up, but to only like a certain extent. It definitely doesn't have as much pigment as Morphe or Patrick Ta or one size. So this ends up looking a little bit more natural on the skin. Although there are 4 duos, and this is the lightest one. They also have like a light peachy coral one, but they do have 2 that are more vibrant. So the cream blush in those would probably end up looking a little more intense on the cheeks. So I only have this one to share with you. The powder looks great. It's a true like matte powder blush, pretty intense. So it's nice that you can build it up with that powder if you want to. And then the highlighter in here goes on nicely. I don't like the finish of the highlighter. Honestly, it's more flattering on the skin than it is in the actual pan. In the pan, I was like, that's not even, I didn't even want to like initially apply it at first because I didn't want to mess up my makeup, but it actually looks pretty on the skin. It doesn't look chunky or glittery or unflattering, but it does kind of have like a little bit of like a frosty, almost duochrome effect, which isn't what I normally go for, but it actually sits on the skin really well. So I will say this product surprised me. I mean, for $12, you get 3 different products in here. They go on well, the colors coordinate nicely, it wears well throughout the day. Overall, I do think the Morphe formula is higher quality. The packaging is better, it feels nicer, and personally, I like the fact that you get 2 creams in here rather than getting 1 cream and then one, slightly unflattering highlighter. Unflattering is subjective, of course, but if you're like me and you're like, I'm not going to wear that highlighter very often at all, then it's going to be a waste of your money to buy this, even if it is less expensive. Whereas I know I'm going to get my money's worth with this trio because I'll end up wearing these 3 products a lot more often. So in my opinion, I would say skip Revolution Beauty and go for Morphe. But again, there is a price difference there. So if you can't afford the Morphe one, you're not going to miss out by not having it. Okay, I've been meaning to talk about this product on my channel for what feels like forever. It's the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Tinted Foundation Balm. I feel like I've gotten a lot of comments asking me, like, do I like this? Do I recommend this? And I keep saying, like, I'm going to review it on my channel. I think it comes up a lot because I do talk about the Milani Skin Tint Stick, and they ended up no, I don't think they ended up launching around the same time, but I feel like when people are considering a drugstore or affordable foundation balm or skin tint stick, those two do come up a lot. I honestly think the formulas are very, very different. So let's talk about this one first. This retails for $14. It does come in 18 different shades. So they describe it as a creamy skincare infused tinted balm stick. It's supposed to melt like a dream for a blurring second skin finish. Honestly, this lives up to its claims. It glides on so easily. It's even like more of an effortless glide than the Milani skin tint stick, which I absolutely love, but it is so creamy. There's no tugging, there's no issues at all, and then it blends out like an actual dream. Like it really does melt into the skin so beautifully. They do say light to medium coverage, but I feel like for the most part, it ends up looking like a true light coverage product on my skin. So some of the key similarities between this and Milani, they're both lightweight, both comfortable on the skin. They blend out really easily. And then you do get that true, light to maybe medium coverage finish. ColourPop claims to have a natural finish, and then Milani claims matte, but I do find that the ColourPop has more of almost like a hydrated glowy finish to it, whereas the Milani is satin leaning matte. And I think that's why I personally prefer the Milani one. It ends up wearing and looking better on my combo leaning oily skin. Whereas if you have extremely dry skin, I think you might actually prefer the ColourPop formula. They both look really, really good initially, and even once you set them with makeup, but the ColourPop one just doesn't last as long on my skin. It ends up breaking down a lot faster than the Milani one. The Milani one just wears better on me, and I feel like the ColourPop one is so creamy that it doesn't fully settle down, which could be a selling point for you if you have dry skin or you just like more of a hydrating, creamy texture. I do think the quality of this product is really great. It's just not a product that ends up working well for my skin type, my preferences. So I think that's why it took me a little while to review it. I wasn't sure exactly how I felt about it. I don't think it's a bad product at all. I think it definitely lives up to its claims. It performs well. The texture is great. It's just not for me personally. So I recently did a video on the best drugstore launches of 2025 so far. That was before testing these products. So if you want to hear my thoughts on everything leading up to these, I'll link that in the description box below. I did talk about this product in that video, but I had just tried it like maybe a week or two before filming that video. So I wanted to share an update now that I've been using this a little bit more regularly, and I've purchased another shade. It's from Cocokind. It's the Ceramide Lip Blur Balm. I do have the shade Be Powerful. I think that's the name. It's either in my car or upstairs in my purse, so I don't have it right in front of me, but I love that shade. It's been like my go-to. It's such a good everyday color. I recently picked up the shade Be You, which is a little bit deeper, and I have to say I really love it. It is so gorgeous on days where I want something slightly more dramatic. It also looks so good over a deeper lip liner or even like a deeper nude lipstick. I absolutely love this formula. It's really become my go-to. It gives your lips like this true blurred finish. But unlike the matte lip products I was talking about in the beginning of the video, you get like a gorgeous glossy sheen. It's very comfortable, very cushiony, very plush. Like it is so nice on the lips. It feels like you're just wrapping your lips in a very nourishing formula. I find that this actually lasts on my lips a lot better than a ton of the other lip balms that I typically reach for. So another one of my favorites right now is the e.l.f. Glow Reviver Lip Balm. This is not the longest lasting formula out there. It's something that I end up reapplying frequently throughout the day. Since I've been filming this, I only applied it one other time, but I feel like I could probably go in and apply this again. Whereas when I use this product from Cocokind, I feel like I really don't have to apply it for like 2, maybe 3 hours. And then even after that, my lips feel so moisturized, so soft, just really, really good. So this is a great option. I'm going to do a video, I think I am, breaking down like all of the drugstore lip balms or maybe just all of the popular lip balms. There are so many out there and you really don't need all of them. And I feel like a lot of formulas end up performing and looking very, very similar, but then there are some that are maybe like a step or two above other formulas. So I don't know. I haven't fully like thought out that video. Again, I don't know if I'll do like the viral formulas, the drugstore formulas, but I will have a lip balm roundup video coming soon, but I can easily say like this will be near the top. Okay, the last product, I actually have one more thing from Revolution Beauty. This is their Pout Lip Oil. Honestly, I don't recommend this. I haven't been trying a lot of new lip oil formulas because I'm really not purchasing any lip oils in 2025, but I did get this in the mail as PR, so I decided to try out 2 of the shades. I love a lot of Revolution Beauty lip products. This is not one of them. I just don't think you need it. It's really underwhelming compared to a lot of the other formulas that are out there. This retails for $8. They come in 7 different shades. I think each one is maybe scented a little bit differently. I have two. So I have Juicy Peach and Cherry Red. They do both smell different and neither one smells good. Cherry Red smells like full-on cherry cough syrup, and Juicy Peach has like a little bit of a peachy scent to it. But again, there's like a little kind of like a medicinal quality to it, or like cleaning supplies. You know what? This smells like those hard candy lip oils that I really didn't like a few years ago. It's not just the scent though. These have a weird taste to them, kind of plasticky, chemically taste. They taste like they smell and they don't smell good. On top of that, like the third issue, why I just don't like these is because the formula is so underwhelming. It's thin and it doesn't last long and it's not incredibly moisturizing. Like it wears off very, very quickly. It's one of those thin lip oils that is not, extra glossy, extra shiny, extra hydrating. Like there's nothing super special about it. There are so many options out there. I feel like if a brand is going to launch a lip oil in 2025, there has to be something special about it. And this has like no redeeming quality in my opinion. I like the doe foot applicator. That's probably it. I like that it's large and oversized, but other than that, I don't think these are worth trying. That's everything I wanted to talk about in today's video. Just my thoughts on some of the newest drugstore launches. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. If you've tried any of these products and you love them or you hate them, let us know what you think in the comments below. I always love hearing from you because I know everyone has different preferences, different things they look for when it comes to makeup. So reading through the comments after, I've shared my thoughts on something always helps me just gain perspective and understand who might like or might not like products that I mention. And I just think it's really helpful when I'm sharing recommendations in the future. So that way I can add in like little pros or cons that you guys have mentioned too. So anyway, thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. I'll put a couple of related videos on the screen where I share my thoughts on some new or just other drugstore makeup that I've tried recently. And I'll see you very soon with a new one. Bye.